To become rich in America, you don't need to win the lottery, launch the next big tech startup, or come from old money. What you do need is something much simpler and far more powerful: financial discipline. Live below your means, avoid lifestyle inflation, and invest steadily over time. Contrary to what social media and pop culture might tell you, wealth isn't always loud. In fact, most real millionaires don't drive luxury cars or wear designer brands. They live modestly, often in average neighborhoods, working regular jobs. This isn't just a theory. It's the core message of The Millionaire Next Door, a book that dismantles the myth of flashy wealth and shows how quiet, consistent habits build true financial freedom. In this video, we'll unpack the book's most important lessons and, more importantly, show you how to apply them in your own life, starting today. The main idea of The Millionaire Next Door is simple, but it flips the common image of wealth on its head. Most millionaires don't look rich. They don't live in mansions, drive exotic cars, or wear flashy designer clothes. Instead, they tend to drive reliable used cars, live in ordinary neighborhoods, and spend carefully. You might pass them at the grocery store and never suspect they're millionaires, and that's exactly the point. The book is the result of a 20-year research project by Stanley and William Danko. They didn't look at celebrity billionaires or Silicon Valley unicorns. They studied everyday Americans who had quietly accumulated real, lasting wealth, and what they found was both surprising and incredibly practical. It turns out that real wealth isn't about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Millionaires are often people who are in average incomes, but manage their money exceptionally well. They budget, they save, they invest, and most importantly, they live below their means. Many of them are small business owners, self-employed professionals, or even blue-collar workers. They avoid unnecessary debt, rarely upgrade their lifestyle just because they can, and think in decades, not just paychecks. Meanwhile, the people who look rich with new cars, luxury brands, and big homes are often living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt to maintain the illusion of wealth. The Millionaire Next Door teaches us that true financial freedom isn't built on status or image. It's built on smart choices, patience, and discipline over time. So if you're dreaming of wealth, start by looking beyond appearances, because chances are the real millionaires are living right next door. Dr. Thomas J. Stanley and Dr. William D. Danko weren't just authors, they were marketing professors who took a scientific approach to understanding wealth in America. Over the span of several decades, they conducted detailed surveys and in-depth interviews with thousands of millionaires across the country. Their mission was clear: to uncover how real wealth is built, maintained, and passed on, not through guesswork or stereotypes, but through hard data. What they found was groundbreaking. Most millionaires didn't live the flashy lives portrayed in movies or on social media. Instead, they lived modestly, saved consistently, and made smart, long-term financial decisions. Their findings challenged everything we thought we knew about being rich and sparked a new way of thinking about money. For more than 20 years, their research has shaped how financial educators teach, how business leaders lead, and how ordinary people manage their money with purpose and clarity. The Millionaire Next Door isn't just a book about money, it's a reality check. Based on years of research, Dr. Thomas J. Stanley and Dr. William D. Danko uncovered the truth about how real wealth is built in America, and it's not through flashy jobs, viral fame, or lucky breaks. Here are the core habits that most millionaires share, backed by decades of hard data. 1. Millionaires live below their means. This is the foundation of everything. Real millionaires don't spend every dollar they make, far from it. They live on a fraction of their income, consistently saving and investing the rest. They don't chase the latest trends or feel the need to upgrade their lifestyle every time they get a raise. The research showed that the majority of millionaires drive cars that are several years old, often paid for in cash. They shop at regular stores, not high-end boutiques, and they rarely buy luxury items unless they've planned for it. It's not about being cheap, it's about being intentional. Every dollar they don't spend is a dollar they can use to grow their wealth. 2. They allocate time and energy to financial planning. Millionaires treat money management like a job. They budget, plan, and review their financial goals regularly. According to the research, they spend significantly more time each month reviewing their finances compared to non-millionaires. This doesn't mean obsessing over every penny. It means having a system tracking where money goes, reviewing investments, and adjusting when needed. While many people avoid thinking about money until there's a problem, millionaires are proactive. They think years, even decades ahead. Retirement, college funds, emergency savings, passive income, it's all mapped out with purpose. 3. They value financial independence over displaying social status. One of the most powerful takeaways from the book is this: real millionaires don't care about looking rich, they care about being free. They don't feel pressure to impress others with expensive clothes, designer bags, or the latest tech gadgets. Why? Because they know that chasing status symbols often leads to debt and financial stress. Instead, they aim for control, the freedom to make choices to retire early, travel, or work because they want to, because they have to. That freedom is far more valuable than any brand name accessory. 4. They raise children to be economically self-sufficient. Stanley and Danko dedicated an entire section of their research to parenting, and what they found was eye-opening. Wealthy parents who oversupport their adult children often weaken their ability to become financially independent. The authors called this economic outpatient care, and it usually backfires. Instead, successful millionaires teach their kids to earn, save, and invest. They involve them in financial conversations, encourage them to work part-time, and model good money habits. The goal isn't to hand their children wealth, it's to hand them the tools to build their own. 5. They are often self-employed or own small businesses. You might assume most millionaires climb the corporate ladder at Fortune 500 companies, but the research tells a different story. Many millionaires are entrepreneurs, not in glamorous tech startups, but in everyday industries. Think dry cleaners, plumbers, contractors, accountants. These are people who built solid businesses that solved simple problems and served their communities consistently. Being self-employed often gave them control over their income and the ability to scale their wealth over time, something a salary job rarely offers. Final thoughts. The millionaires next door aren't always the loudest or the most visible. They're often hiding in plain sight, ordinary people with extraordinary discipline. Their wealth wasn't handed to them. It was built through smart decisions, steady habits, and a long-term mindset. The Millionaire Next Door reminds us that becoming wealthy isn't about luck, it's about living differently, thinking wisely, and making the quiet, consistent choices that compound over time. And the best part, these habits are available to anyone, starting now. The Millionaire Next Door isn't a book about overnight success or lottery-style wealth. It's about quiet discipline and the financial habits that actually build lasting freedom. Here are some powerful takeaways that can change the way you think about money. Wealth is what you accumulate, not what you spend. In today's world, it's easy to confuse spending with success. We see luxury cars, designer clothes, and big houses and assume the person must be rich. But according to Stanley and Danko's research, many of those people are living paycheck to paycheck, heavily in debt, chasing appearances. True wealth is invisible. It's in investment portfolios, fully paid-off homes, savings accounts, and business equity. The real millionaires often live in modest homes and drive ordinary cars, but they own them outright and sleep soundly knowing their net worth is growing quietly behind the scenes. You can build wealth on a moderate income. You don't need to be a CEO or earn a six-figure salary to become a millionaire. Many of the millionaires profiled in the book were teachers, engineers, or small business owners, people with average incomes who simply mastered the basics. Spend less than you earn, save consistently, and invest wisely. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. If you earn $70,000 a year and save $15,000, you're building more wealth than someone earning $200,000 and spending every penny. Avoid lifestyle inflation. This one's a trap for many. As your income increases, it's tempting to reward yourself with a bigger house, nicer car, or more expensive vacations. But every upgrade comes at a cost, not just financially, but in lost freedom. Millionaires resist this pressure. Instead of upgrading their lifestyle with every raise, they increase their savings rate. They invest the difference. That's how they turn a modest income into financial independence. The key is to grow your net worth, not just your lifestyle. Financial independence is the goal, not luxury. Think about this. What's more valuable, driving a luxury car that locks you into debt, or waking up every day knowing you don't need a paycheck to survive? Millionaires in this book chose freedom over flash. They understood that true wealth means control over your time, your choices, and your future. Luxury is temporary. Independence is power. Teach your kids to be financially responsible. One of the most eye-opening findings in the book is that many wealthy families lose their wealth within a generation. Why? Because their children were never taught how to manage money. Instead, they were handed money without learning how to earn it. Millionaires raise their kids with values: hard work, responsibility, and humility. They don't give them everything. They teach them how to build their own wealth and make smart financial decisions. That's how legacies are created. Invest wisely and consistently. Forget chasing the hottest stocks or day trading on Reddit tips. Most real millionaires don't do any of that. They invest long-term in index funds, real estate, retirement accounts, and they start early, stay consistent, and let compound interest do its work. They don't try to time the market. They trust the process. Wealth isn't built overnight. It's built with patience, discipline, and time. Final thoughts. The Millionaire Next Door shows us that wealth is not about luck, status, or income. It's about values, habits, and mindset. You don't need to look rich to be rich. And the good news? These habits are simple, timeless, and within reach of anyone willing to apply them. Your journey to financial independence can start today, and it starts with how you think, not just how you earn. The Millionaire Next Door is a wake-up call for anyone who thinks wealth is about high income, fancy cars, or designer brands. Here's the truth. Most real millionaires don't live in mansions or wear luxury watches. They live in average neighborhoods, drive used cars, and avoid debt. Why? Because wealth isn't built through image, it's built through consistent, boring, smart decisions. They budget, they invest, and they stay disciplined for years, not months. They focus on freedom and status. So if your goal is financial independence, stop trying to look rich. Start acting like the millionaire next door, below your means. Think long-term. Build quietly, because in the real world, it's not about how much you make, it's about how wisely you live. Want more no-fluff personal finance insights? Hit subscribe and tap the bell for weekly breakdowns, timeless strategies, and mindset shifts that actually work.